Check 1 2. All right. Yep, still works. Yeah, 0 degrees outside right now. Fahrenheit. I think that's what minus 17 or minus 18 degrees Celsius for those of you who do that sort of thing. Or roll that way. So yeah, it's plenty cold outside. Plenty cold. And my wife broke her glasses again, so I'm going to fix those first. But the reason I'm down here is to breadboard the circuit that I came up with. For regulating power to my induction heater. My wife is careless with her glasses, I think because she enjoys wearing them as much as I do. So I got a strange message. I got a strange message from my computer that a certain command in MySQL is depreciated. When I sent out, when I went to send out the announcement email that I was going live. So did everybody get their email? Just want to make sure that that happened. Tippy says he did. All right, well that's good. And then at least it's still working. It just there was a certain See, I didn't realize YouTube sent out notices when somebody goes live. I need to look into that. First time in a long time. Yeah, I know. Funny story about that. I went to go use my chat the other day, and there was some guy named Pierre who had made himself a moderator in my chat room, and I was like, how did that happen? And then I logged in as my my owner username, and I was no longer the owner of Zero Labs. So I went over to the help section at IdleChat, and I said, "Hey guys, how did this happen?" And they were like, "Well, if the administrator doesn't log in for 20 days, the channel, they lose the channel." I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, I guess I gotta be down here more often. Is the moral of the story. That's what I get for slacking off. So the first thing I did was kick and ban some guy named Pierre. I don't know who Pierre is. So Pierre, if you're watching, feel free to sign in as a guest and say, hey man, that was me. I was just holding it for you. Sure you were. I'll log in every 19 days. Yeah, something like that. You gotta show them some love, you know? Okay, so I think this should do. We'll let the glue dry over here. And pour myself some holiday cheer. So I did not watch the ball drop last night. I don't know if anybody else did. I really couldn't care less. It's just another day. No, my wife keeps dropping the damn things on cement, on ceramic tile. The turtle race. Woohoo! Yeah. That's pretty funny. So I left the rocket stove to supplement my heat down here from this afternoon, because this afternoon I was busy sealing up cracks around our doors and stuff because it's freaking cold outside. And we're already down to 30% on our propane. We just had it delivered like 2 weeks ago. I'm getting tired of heating the outside. So I came down, and the off-center weight that was on the end of the shaft of the motor that's strapped to the hopper for my pellets is no longer attached to the motor. So the motor just sounds like that because there's no off-center weight on it. And I've been trying to find that damn thing around here, and I have to imagine that if it flew off in any direction, it would have had to have flown off in the plane that it was spinning. So it could be I checked all behind the stove over here. It could be any place over in this direction. I don't know. I can't seem to find it. It's going to turn up in the weirdest place, I know. Yeah, I don't know where the hell that thing is. I'm going to have to make another one. Rocket stove for the house, it may be time. Check the hopper chamber. Well, I already loaded it with pellets, so if it was in the hopper chamber, it would be sitting in the bottom of my pellet basket right now. I don't think that's where it is. It would have had to bounce off something higher to end up in there. It couldn't really just go straight into the opening from the top. I'm thinking it wound up someplace. Someplace on my shelf here, maybe stuck to a neodymium magnet. I don't know, I looked all over the floor. I can't find it. It's not that small either. I don't know. I don't want to waste any time looking for it. I have better things to do. This... Check your current... Shut up. Alright, so this circuit that I started building, I don't know if you guys remember when I was doing this. This is a I think this is a single phase to three-phase converter. Try to remember why I needed a three-phase signal. I don't even remember that. I know I made it. I know it worked. Just don't remember why I made it. LM324. Alright, so standard chips. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, what I do know is I don't need it right now. So let's yank all the parts out and start over. Still irritated about that weight though. I want to know what happened to it. See, without my miner running, even my rocket stove has a tough time keeping up with the cold temperatures outside. I mean, think about it. The temperature differential from the inside of the wall to the outside of the wall. Well, right now is 65 degrees. But if the temperature drops any more, it's going to be a lot more than that. Where's my scoop? Picked up a few more bags of pellets when I was at Home Depot earlier today. I'm surprised they even had them in stock. It's kind of unusual. It was only $5 a bag, so that wasn't bad. Hopefully they're not shit. They don't say whether they're hardwood or softwood, they just say pellets. Pretty much everything was open except for banks and the post office. Yeah, buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy. We're not in Kansas anymore. He's quitting showbiz. Who is? Me? Never. I have too big of an ego. I may need to give my rocket stove a health checkup pretty soon. When it whistles like that, it ejects a lot of smoke into the room. I start to smell it burning where I never used to. Let's see here. There we go. Something happened to one of my cameras. I think it might have come disconnected. And I'm not going to worry about that either. Alright. This is good enough. Oh my God, he lives. Yep. Let's see, where is Russ going? I thought Russ already moved to Nevada. The last video I saw of that guy Richard who was visiting him, I thought that was at his new house. Is that not the case? He has not said. Well, all I can say is take a look at his latest video where he greets this guy Richard who is coming to bring his coil over to see Russ. Sure looks like he's settled in to me. He's not done moving. Okay, so he's moving in stages. He is live now. Oh, okay. Let's take a look. Russ was at a temporary location while I was there. This is the... Oh, okay. Hey, Richard. Let's see. Russ was at a temporary location while I was there. That was a house of someone else. I think it may have been one of his new workmates who was traveling and let him use the house temporarily. Okay. All right. Now let's see if I can bring up my my other window here and see if Russ is live. Let's see, RWG. We'll take a full-size view here. Oh, there he is. Oh yeah, look at that. Full-size view. Oh, there he is. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Oh yeah, look at that. Russ is packing for the real move. Alright, so where am I hearing this echo now? The real move. Oh, alright. Yeah, I gotta stop my own feed here. There we go. That was pretty annoying. Who's with him? Did the best we could.
What the fudge stuff is going on, Father? Opening my bag. Okay, good. Hold it up. You got this. You got this.
By the way, Richard, if you want to change your nickname in my chat room, all you have to do is type /Nick space and then your new name. If it's as long as it's, you know, throw some numbers after it or something just to make sure that no one else has taken it. And you can be in my guest room under your actual name.
Things like live bullets. This is from
Guest one is now known as Magnetron. Okay, Magnetron. We know that name too. Magneton.
You know why? Because I got pizza pie. You know why? I don't know.
Whatever. Alright, let me get my TL494 chip here. Someplace up here. Voltage rigs, ICs. Any clue what Z is breadboarding? What I am breadboarding is a TL494 pulse width modulator regulation circuit that I was discussing the other night in chat with several of the guys. You were in the chat room. What the hell?
We're going the wrong direction. Probably pay attention which way we go.
I got a lot of these chips. I think I got a lot of these TL494s out of salvaging components from TV sets, actually. Hope you guys really appreciate this sacrifice that I'm making for you, because I'm not running my S9 miner at the moment making money, quite literally making money, just so that I can broadcast in relative peace.
There you go. I feel better now.
Poor thing, yeah. Is it loud, Z? Oh yeah, it's loud. But on the plus side, I can walk in at practically any time of day or night, day or night, and it's inhabitable. You know, if it's running about 10 degrees outside, I can walk in. It'll be about 55 in here. I've seen some guys are actually selling these sound shielded boxes with ductwork in and out for these miners, for people who want to have them in the room and not be driven out of the room. But they're quite large.
You were getting there, man. One little piece of a little stuff. Yeah, it goes out. This one is what? You wanted to go inside another box?
But I can't go live with it running. I can't use the ham radio with it running. It's just too damn loud.
Don't put anything there. Yeah, because then we can figure that out. Actually, Dad, just bring it back.
Oh, it is his dad.
And
he should go back to Indiana.
No. Medium, right there. That's empty one.
Don't tell him I said that, but he should. I think he'd be happier going back home.
No, because of what we packed in there. What? Where's your blue? Oh, there. That's the one that's on your board. Now this one needs to be on top. Wait to the bottom now. This one.
Plastic cooler with ductwork in and out. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so this is the block diagram of the TL494. And I'll be using a master oscillator input. So the frequency will be controlled by the phase lock loop circuit, and the duty cycle, the power of the duty cycle, will be controlled by the PLL, the PWM chip. This is the same chip I used for the power supply in the homebrew audio amplifier that I made, competition class, back when I was first getting into high-powered car stereos and stuff. Let's see how the stove is doing here. 735 degrees, that's doing fine. What happened to melting shit? That's what this is all about, critter. The problem that I have is I sort of put the cart before the horse. Let me turn this down a little more. The problem that I have is that in order for my induction heater circuit to operate within acceptable parameters with no load on the coil, meaning no workpiece inside the coil, I had to add a great many turns to the primary of the coupling transformer so that the voltage swing would not be so great under a no-load condition. What I'm concerned about is exceeding the voltage rating of the induction heating tank capacitor. And that would be very easy to do, especially if I suddenly start powering this thing with 240 volts instead of 120. All right. The other problem that I have is I don't have a 240 volt variac to vary the amount of input power to the workpiece. And I need to be able to control the amount of input power to the workpiece to regulate the temperature. So, in order to A, get enough power into the workpiece under a loaded condition that won't self-destruct under a no-load condition, I need some form of power regulation. That power regulation is coming in the form of pulse width modulation. So my frequency, the frequency of my induction heater, the phase lock loop circuit keeps it in resonance, but I need a PWM circuit downstream to regulate the voltage and to also limit the current under widely varying load conditions. Even that big mofo you bought, yeah, even that big mofo I bought is rated at 700 volts RMS. believe me, under a no-load condition with 240 volts input, exceeding that voltage range, that voltage would be very easy, and I could easily destroy that capacitor. I don't want to do that. Z's explanation is better the second time. Oh yeah? Okay. So the TL494 is a pulse width modulator chip that I'm very familiar with, and it is something that I've got quite a few of laying around, which is a plus. And it's very easy to work with. So I'm incorporating that into the circuit, which will actually, there are certain parts of my original circuit that I can get rid of now, because the current regulation will be handled by the TL494. The current and the voltage regulation both. Yeah. So I don't know how well you can see this. Probably not very well at all. Anyway, this whole half of the circuit back here can go away, because this is like a current sense crowbar shutdown, which forcibly shuts down the circuit if I exceed a certain current rating, but then it requires a manual restart every time. And while that's a good safety measure, it's not very convenient. So where have you been? I have been chilling. I have been playing around with my ham radio quite a bit, and yeah, every once in a while you need a mental stand-up. So, and there were plenty of honeydews to go around. There's going to be more honeydews coming up too, by the way. I should warn you guys, because my daughter's closing on her house is January 8th, and we're going to go in and gut the bathroom. So I'll probably be MIA for a couple of weeks in the middle of January. Chilling. I saw some of them. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Alan. I'll be the first to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. So that's Yes, technically that's a daddy do. Ooh yeah, 775. Cooking along real nice here. What's the temperature doing? Oh yeah, we're almost up to 70 degrees in the workshop. That's nice. That's a nice temperature. 70 degrees out inside. And what is it outside now? -2 degrees. So close to being an empty nester. Yeah, one more to go. The youngest daughter has a boyfriend. She's been dating for a while, and she just went to Long Island with her boyfriend for New Year's to meet the family, and she hit it off real well with the family. Got the good girlfriend seal of approval. So we might be empty nesting sooner than we think. We'll see how that goes. Please post recording later. Okay, well the recording is automatic as long as I don't play any music in the background, so that it gets muted or deleted. Cool, grandkids around the corner. Maybe. I can definitely see her giving me grandkids before the older one. One thing I know for sure is neither one of my daughters will have children out of wedlock, which is reassuring. Okay, so back to my original circuit. Rubbers do snap. Trust me, there will be no unplanned pregnancies in this house. We made sure of that. As parents, we were, how shall we say it, somewhat progressive on those grounds, in that area. Just leave it at that. Poor Russ. All that stuff. All right, I hear Russ talking to Richard about putting something in a chat room. Maybe I should open up the whatchamacallit, RWG chat room as well, huh? It's a lot less than when he started. Quite the task. Bumpin' Beats 464, it's Darcy. Okay. So, not a fan of moving, but still intriguing to watch.
You can put a cardboard layer in it or something. Like a layer in or something. I think we need it.
The 98-pound coil. Yeah, use those knees, yeah. Woo!
Bigger one even than that. It's even bigger than that. I would be back.
Who has the beer? Alright, so pin 12 is VCC. Let's see here. Like this, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's just arbitrarily shove it in here. And if I have to move things around, I will. Alright, change camera angles. Let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is VCC. Seven is ground, 9 is ground, and 10 is ground. 7, 9, and 10. 7 I understand. 9 and 10. 9 and 10 are the two open collector outputs. Do I want those to go to ground? Let me think about this for a minute. Do I want them to go to ground, or do I want to use them as voltage followers? Well, let's see.
Trying to keep the nice stuff nice and nasty stuff nasty. Oh, thank goodness. No, Mommy, I'll be right there, buddy. Thank you. Got some food. Edibles. Something to eat. Hungry.
Hungry. No food for you. Australian banks are now rejecting Bitcoin. Well, of course they're rejecting Bitcoin. I would expect all banks to reject Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a threat.
Are you hungry? Go eat. I'm about to pass out. 12 jobs. Alright, well, we're gonna go get some food. I'm dying. I'm dying. I ain't gonna make it. What is that? Won't take us long.
Okay, Russ, don't die. Alright, so, I'm dying here without some music going here. So I'm going to stop my own broadcast for a couple of minutes. I'm going to let the video archive at YouTube, and once the video starts to archive at YouTube, I will restart the broadcast, and there will be some background music playing, so Alan won't be able to see that part of it, but at least he saw the important parts. Okay. Can't pay your light bill. That's not exactly, well, yeah, you have to convert it to fiat currency. So you have to be on an exchange. And my answer to that is, so what? I have converted plenty of my Bitcoin into fiat currency and spent it. I bought a lot of nice gifts this year. It doesn't matter, Shubis. Just because the banks don't want Bitcoin doesn't mean that you can't trade your Bitcoin on an exchange. The exchanges will send fiat currency to the banks via wire transfer. That's how I withdraw my funds. It doesn't matter that the banks don't want Bitcoin. They don't need to take Bitcoin. Yeah, there is a certain level of trust required in the exchanges, and they are working hard to earn that trust. After the Mt. Gox debacle, I would have to say that they are working extra hard. But there are a couple of very well established exchanges. Coinbase is the most respected Bitcoin exchange out there. Kraken is probably the second most respected. That's the one that I use. And Bitfinex, Bitfinex, is probably the world's largest Bitcoin exchange, but it is reserved more for the big players. And again, very high level of trust. So, you know, what can I say? The people put their trust in banks too. Think about that. Think about the bank's practices of, what is it? What do they call it? Fractional. Fractional something. It is the shadiest form of banking ever, and they all do it. And people put their trust in the banks. And guess what? Banks fail. Fractional reserve lending. That's it. Yeah, we're going to lend you 10 times what we have in assets. Sure. That makes a whole lot of sense. We're just going to punch a few keys on a computer keyboard, and we're going to invent money. I keep very little in the bank. I keep just enough to do my daily operations. Everything else is in precious metals and other assets. All right, so again, back to the question, do I want to go open collector? I need to think about this for a minute. You know, I look at this circuit. I look at this circuit, the way it's drawn, and it can't work. There's an error in this drawing. Right in the Texas Instruments application notes. It cannot possibly work the way it is drawn. It's done a high mileage. Yeah, it has. It has. Cheap rework stations. Anyone got one? 835D all-in-one. What's an 835D? Who's it made by? I don't know. I've never heard that model number. And I'm gonna get out the schematic diagram that I drew for my audio amplifier circuit, because I know that adaptation is correct. Audio, here we go. Tone control mixer reverb, guitar amp, tube reverb. Man, some of this old rudimentary stuff that I saved as part of my early learning, I only hang on to it just because it's nostalgic. Tone control circuits, reverb circuits, speech compressor, stereo image enhancer. That was a good one. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. .35 solder work rework station. Ah. I don't got no stinking solder rework station. Okay, I guess this was my my final design for my 300 watt switch mode power supply for the audio amplifier that I built. Arrow Electronics is where I bought it from. Jesus, they're out of business a long time ago. That's a shame too. Look at this. Photocopies from an actual Texas Instruments datasheet book. Can you imagine that? Jesus. Before the ages of PDFs, what did we do? Got all my vendors, all my component selections. Improving amplifier performance with MOSFET circuits. Woo! Yeah. Look at these handsome fellows, huh? Right out of a popular science magazine. Okay, so anyway, this is the schematic diagram that I used. I'm surprised I used a coupling transformer to the gate of the MOSFETs, but that's all right. I think it's warm enough in here. Oh yeah, 80 degrees, that's warm enough. But as soon as I shut that rocket stove down, it's going to start cooling down here pretty quick because it is freaking cold outside. -3. Yeah, that's about what it is here too. -2 the last time I looked, but that was a little while ago. I think we're going down to -5 tonight. Nope, still at -2. No wonder there's no critter window. Yeah, I know. No, you know why there's no critter window? Because he gave up. He just threw in the towel. Doesn't care. He's a quitter. Critter quitter. Sorry, quitter. Sorry, sorry, critter. Yep. That's okay. We forgive you. I forgive you. I don't know about the rest of the guys. It's kind of like Scarecrow, you know? It takes time and effort and money to pursue a passion that sometimes you just kind of lose the drive. Wife is retired now, so who knows what we will do. Yeah. That's right. Your wife did just retire. Got the golden handshake. Good for you. Kind of interesting what she did, though. I was telling my daughter, the nurse, about that. She was like, huh, that's pretty neat. because of course she's familiar with most of those names. Was an itch. And of course she's still available on a consulting basis, which pays considerably more. Lots more, that's right, because it's not guaranteed income, so you get it while you can. Log out, shut down. $350 an hour. Yeah, that sounds about right. And Pfizer or Eli Lilly or whoever the hell that was that she worked for still makes out. All right, so let's figure this out here. Pin 11 is a collector. So I had an open collector, and pin 9 is an emitter, yes? Yeah. Nine and 10 are emitters. Ten is the emitter for 11. Nine is the emitter for 8. Ten is the emitter for 11. Jesus, how the hell did this even work? Yeah, it is bright. It is very bright. Boy, you know, in hindsight, I'm looking at this schematic diagram, and while this schematic diagram works, I did some things that were a little bit bass-ackward that would have saved a lot of work and quite a bit on the component count. Alright, I said that I was going to stop the stream and start some music, so I'll be right back in about somewhere between 2 to 5 minutes. Okay? Okay. So it's alright.